Hey, fifth graders, one more week till break. Let's get through this week. This week we're going to be doing divisibility rules. I'm going to make a video for Monday and then one video for Tuesday through Friday because Tuesday through Friday is basically the same thing, just practice, okay? So today for Monday, nothing new. You have a little quiz to take today. Your quiz will be on zeros in the quotient. So what we've been doing since Wednesday or Thursday of last week. So this is the stuff where you have a zero at the top if a number doesn't go into another number. Keep things lined up correctly on this and make sure that you're doing it correctly. Make sure you check it if you need to by multiplying. Also make sure that you are getting a remainder that is no bigger than your divisor. Just make sure you're lining it up and you're getting your multiplication facts correct. After that, your homework is workbook, page 55. This is just more practice of zeros in the quotient. This is what I assigned Thursday night, I believe, and then I ended up not giving it to fifth grade for homework, so I canceled it for you guys as well. So some of you might have already done this, but if not, that will be homework for tonight. So this is the end of Monday. It's real short. Just go ahead and do that quiz for me. Do your best. Everybody's been doing pretty good on this, and then we'll move on to divisibility rules for the rest of the week. All right, so this video is going to be Tuesday through Friday. So this is everything you need for this whole week, okay? So what we're going to be doing is divisibility rules. We did a few of these last year. You have to memorize these. There's no other way around it. So do take notes. Remember, if I go too quickly, you can pause it. You can fast forward. You can rewind. I don't have a whole lot of room on the app I'm working in, so I do have to erase it, but you can pause it. So we're going to be on page 76 in your book. So on page 76, it tells us divisibility and mental math. The reason you're doing these divisibility rules is to quickly divide in your head. It says Josiah buys 84 tomato seedlings at the farmer's market. He wants to plant the seedlings in equal sized rows. Can he plant the seedlings in 3 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows? Divisibility rules can help you decide if one number is divisible by another. The chart shows the divisibility rules for 2, 5, 4, 3, 9, and 6. So what you're going to do is memorize the rules. There is no other way around it. You have to memorize it to understand them. So for the first one, let's write if a number is divisible by, all right, so 2 is the first one. If you're going to be able to divide a number by 2, that other number has to end in an even number. So if a number is divisible by 2, it ends in an even number. So they give you the example 20, 42, 84, 936, 1048. All of those numbers are even because it ends with an even number. 20 ends with a 0, 42 ends with a 2, 84 ends with a 4, 936 ends in a 6, and 1048 ends in an 8. All of those numbers are even, so any of those numbers can be divided by 2 with no remainder. Okay, then it goes on to 5. It can be divided by 5 if the ones digit is 0 or 5. If the ones digit is 0 or 5. So the number you're wanting to divide, if it ends in a 0 or a 5, that whole number can be divided by 5 with no remainder. The whole thing with divisibility rules is that it can be divided with no remainders. It goes in evenly. Okay, those are pretty easy. Then it gets to 4, which is a little bit harder. So if a number is divisible by 4, its tens and ones digit form a number that's divisible by 4. So let's look at that one. I'm going to give you an example too. Its tens and ones digits are divisible by 4. Okay, so then it gives you the example of 6,128. 6,128. If I look at the ones and the tens digits here, I get 28. I can divide 28 evenly and get 7. So that whole number is divisible by 4. Okay, I'm going to clear this and give you another example real quick. Actually, I'll do it to the side. Let me give you this one. 31,816 divided by 4. Not divided by 4, sorry. That's kind of going ahead of it. But look at 31,816. It ends in a 16. That means it is divisible by 4 because 16 divided by 4 equals 4. So 31,816 is divisible by 4. And what you'll be doing with all of these is kind of like a little chart where you check things off. Okay, so I'm going to clear this real quick, and I'm going to rewrite Tuesday through Friday in case you're starting here. So the next one is by 3. So it's divisible by 3 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. This one's always one that I think is kind of a fun one to do, but others seem to forget this one. But this one, if you take a number like 27, you should already know that 27 is divisible by 9 because it's an easy fact. But if not, I could take 2 plus 7. So I took the 2 and 27 and 7, added them together. That equals 9. I can divide 9 and 3, so 27 checks off. Let me give you a bigger number like 3,591. Now that one you're not going to know off the top of your head. So the way you figure it out is you take those numbers and add them up. 3 plus 5 plus 9 plus 1. When you add those numbers, that gives you 18. I can divide 18 by 3 and get 6. So 3,591 checks out. So that one is a cool way to do it. You just take the number, split it up, and add it. And then if you get a number that you can divide by 3 with no remainder, then that whole number can be divided by 3. The same for 9. So I'm going to erase part of this real quick because 9 has partly the same definition. Okay, so a number is divisible by 9 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 9, so it's the same thing. If I give you a number like 216, I would add 2 plus 1 plus 6. That equals 9, and of course 9 can be divided by 9 and it would equal 1. So this checks out. Let's try 5,058. I would say 5 plus 0 plus 5 plus 8. That equals 18, and again, I can divide 18 by 9 and get 2, so that checks out. So what you'll have to do when you get a bunch of these numbers is you're going to have to look at your chart in your book, or if you write it in your notes, and you're going to have to try each one of these and see if it works out. It's a tedious process, but I'm not going to give you a whole bunch. For example, today, you only have 2 problems to do to see if you can get it first, okay? So the last one is by 6. So let's do that one real quick. It says it's divisible by 6 if it's divisible by 2 and 3. So the reason 6 is last is because you can check 2 and 3 in your chart first. If you can say that it's divisible by 2 and it's also divisible by 3, then it is divisible by 6. So it has to be divisible by both. It can't be just one. So let's give the example 2,116. It ends in an even number so that we can put a check by 2. It is divisible by 2. Now let's try 3. To see if it's divisible by 3, I would add those numbers up. 6, 7, 8, 9. I can divide 9 by 3 and get 3. So it checks out for 3 too. So 2016 is also divisible by 6. So what we'll do is we'll make a little chart and we'll kind of check off 2, check off 3. And if you see a check in your 2 and your 3, you don't have to do any work, just check off 6, okay? So let's look at the bottom of the answer to our word problem. It said 8 plus 4 is 12, and 12 is divisible by 3. So 84 is divisible by 3. The ones digit is 84, and 84 is 4, so 84 is not divisible by 5. 84 is divisible by both 2 and 3, so 84 is divisible by 6. So Josiah can plant the tomato seedlings in 3 or 6 rows. Okay, so let's look at some practice ones really quick. Let me find a practice one for us. I don't want to do any that you're going to do this week. So let's see. Let's do 24,150. Okay, so what I would do is I would make a little chart. Let me see how we want to do this. I would put maybe 2, 5, 4, 3, 9, and 6, and then I would just put a check or an X by each one. So let's start with 2. If 24,150 ends in an even number, I can divide it by 2. Well, it ends in a 0, so I can divide it by 2. I'm going to put a check. Let's check out 5. It's divisible by 5 if its ones digit is 0 or 5. Well, it's a 0, so that one checks off. Let's look at 4. A number is divisible by 4 if its tens and ones digit form a number that's divisible by 4. Okay, so I get 50. Now I'm going to think, is there any fact I know times 4 that equals 50? So let's try it. You can also go to the side and do a quick division. So let's see. 4 goes into 10 2 times. Okay, see right here, I get a remainder. So it does not go in evenly. So it does not divide by 4. Okay, let's try 3. If the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. Okay, so let's go down here and add them. 2 plus 4 plus 1 plus 5. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can divide 12 by 3, so 3 checks out. Okay, let's go to 9. If the sum of its digits is divisible by 9. Well, I already added them, right? I did 2, 4, 1, and 5 equals 12. I can't divide 12 by 9, so that doesn't work. And then for 6, all I need to do is see that I have a check in 2 and a check by 3, so I can put a check by 6. So in green, I'm going to write the numbers that we can divide by. We can divide by 2, 5, 3, and 6. So for classwork questions, that's what you would give me. You would give me 2, 5, 3, and 6. So what you have to do is go through each one. So let's do another one. Let's do the number 8,473. Okay, so let's make my little checklist. I'm going to put 2, 5, 4, 3, 9, 6. I'm going to give myself some room to the side to work. Okay, so if the ones digit is even, I can divide it by 2. Well, my ones digit is 3, so that's not going to work. If the ones digit is a 0 or a 5, I can divide by 5. Well, again, my ones digit is a 3, so that's not going to work. If the tens and ones digit form a number that's divisible by 4, then it would be divisible by 4. Okay, 73. Well, if you don't know if 73 can be divided by 4, go to the side and solve it. 4 goes into 7 1 time. 4 goes into 33 8 times. and I get a remainder, so that's not going to work. Okay, for 3, I'm going to add them up. 8 plus 4 plus 7 plus 3. Okay, so 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 8 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I can't divide 22 by 3, so that's not going to work. Same thing for 9. Can I divide 22 by 9? Nope, so that's not going to work. And can I divide 2 and 3 to get 6? That's not going to work. So this one is not divisible by any of them. So you would just tell me none. Don't write the number 0 because that means it is divisible by 0. Write the word none if it can't be divided by any of these. Okay? Let's do one more together. Let's do 9,154. Okay, so let's go back to our little chart. I'm going to make my list of 2, 5, 4, 3, 9, and 6. Okay, so by now you should be starting to kind of memorize these rules. If I can divide this number by 2, it would enter an even number, and it does. So I'm going to put a check mark by 2. What I'm saying is I can divide 9,154 by 2 because it ends in an even number. You don't have to divide it. All you have to do is tell me yes or no. Okay, for 5. The rule for 5 is if it ends in a 0 or a 5, I can divide by 5. Well, this doesn't. This ends in a 4, so I have to put an X. For number 4, if its tens and ones digit form a number that's divisible by 4. So for rule 4, I'm looking at 54. So let's try it to the side. Let's see if we can divide 54 by 4. 4 goes into 5 one time. 4 times 1. Okay, so this one doesn't work because it has a remainder, so I'm going to put an X. If I add the numbers up, this one is the rule for 3. If you want to see if I can divide the number by 3, you add these up. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 4 is 19. I can't do 19 divided by 3, so that's an X. I can't do 19 divided by 9, so that's an X. And I can't divide by 2 and 3, so I can't divide by 6. Okay, so what you have to do is keep going through and making a little chart or making something, whatever's going to help you. You will have a quiz on Friday that will be a chart, and it does make it a little bit easier. But whatever helps you for now, you can do it just like I did. So let's look at your classwork for today. You're going to do numbers 1 and 2. Tuesday's classwork. Tuesday's classwork is 1 and 2. It doesn't ask you to do every number like we did. It says which numbers are divisible by 2. So you're going to go through and pick all of the ones that have even numbers in the 1 spot. Number 2 says which numbers are divisible by 5. So you're going to go through and you're going to pick every number that ends in a 0 or a 5. Okay, on Wednesday's classwork, you're going to do 3 through 6. It says determine which numbers in the list are divisible by the given number. So it tells you number 3 gives you 64, 90, 745, 872, 4,000, 9,154, 35,960, and 791,620. It wants you to use the test that we got, or that we just talked about, and figure out which of those numbers can be divided by 4. You're only checking 4s. On number 4, you're only going to check for 3. On 5 is 6, and on 6, you're going to check for 9s. And then on Thursday, you're going to get to 7 through 18, and that's the big one. That's the one where you're going to check for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 like we just did, okay? So this is what I want you to work on for this week. On Friday, you'll have a little quiz to let me know how you're doing. And then next week is our short week, so we'll try to do maybe some more fun ones there, okay? Let me know if you have any questions.